Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to another episode of Holly Goes Solo, but this time it's actually not a vlog. I am ready for this Q&A, you know. I'm cracking open kombucha. If I can actually open this. If you saw my last video, you'll have seen I also got these new yellow shorts. And yeah, I'm rocking black and yellow today because Nana tea, yellow shorts. It's a vibe. I don't know if it really works. Oh my gosh. 1 second. Yes. Haha. Cheers to the kombucha. Oh, I quite like kombucha now and again. Not too much. Yeah, we're gonna spill a lot of kombucha. That's actually tea, so we can spill tea. So we're just gonna go randomly. How do you ask people to take your camera to film you? Isn't it awkward sometimes? So normally the people that have filmed me for my vlogs are those that I've kind of met on tours and gotten to know kind of quite well. I'm like, it's for a vlog, so do you mind? And they're normally really happy to do that. So yeah, and because like I'm just very used to being filmed, it doesn't really faze me, so I'm kind of okay with that. What will you miss about Australia traveling when you go back to the UK? Oh, I'm gonna miss like warm sea. The UK doesn't have warm sea. That's just like non-existent in the UK. Obviously you can't swim in the Australian seas or lakes, lagoons, whatever, all year round, but it's the warm oceans and the diving. Oh yeah, diving is probably going to be one of the things I'll miss because I probably won't be able to do a lot of that back in the UK, which is so sad. How are you going to transition back into life at home after so long away? I think one of the biggest struggles that I'm going to face is coming back and not having as much freedom or flexibility or independence kind of thing. I obviously live at home with my parents still, and I experienced this to a degree when I came back from uni. So I really kind of started to become independent after I'd spent 3 years studying at uni, and then coming home you kind of feel trapped again. Like you have to fit in with other people's schedules, and for me I found that quite difficult. And now having solo traveled and I've had complete freedom, like I have directed everything that I have wanted to do. I've woken up at the time I've wanted to, gone to bed at the time I've wanted to, planned my days according to how I was feeling, what I wanted to do, and when I go back home I won't have that, and it's that kind of confinement that for me I find really difficult. I love home, don't get me wrong, but I think sometimes, and especially now that I've gotten to this stage in my life, I'm really wanting to fully embrace the independence and take that to a new level and move out. I don't know, that's just my thoughts, and that is something that I'm going to struggle with a lot, I know. And it sounds kind of selfish, but when you have solo travel, you really do become independent. Okay, next question. Do you find scuba diving scary / does it make you nervous? I was actually really scared to scuba dive, and I was really close to just cancelling my scuba diving course. I said that in the video at the end. On like the day before, I saw the weather forecast and it said thunderstorms, and I was like, I'm going on a boat, I'm going to be living on a boat, do I really want to do this? I did a trial dive in Greece and I liked the diving there, so I was like, you've got to just try it. So I did it. I got my theory and I did the pool work, and I was like, you know, this isn't so bad. And then when we started to do our training dives, every time I'd get in the water I got more and more used to it, and I felt more comfortable and more at ease. And then when it got to like my fun dives, when I could do them without an instructor and a guide because I got my paddy, open water at that point, I cannot tell you how, like, I don't know, because I'd been trained so well, and that is just like a huge shout out to Divers Den, and because I knew what I was doing, I felt confident with my buddies, everything was just so amazing. Yes, every time I get in the water I step in and you feel a bit nervous, but that's kind of a good thing for me because I know that I am aware of my surroundings, and I'm aware that scuba diving has risks, but at the same time it is so incredible and such a rewarding thing to be able to do. I'm hopefully as well super excited, oh my gosh, going to be getting my advanced open water. No, just my advanced. It's called advanced. Oh, I honestly love diving. I think you guys know that, but it's just my newfound love. Funniest hostel? Why am I saying hostel? Funniest hostel story. That's hard because I've got pressure on me to think of a funny story. I'm gonna have to think. I think there have been like a few strange odd moments. I wouldn't necessarily say this is funny. I'd say this is kind of semi-scary. Actually, it is kind of funny. Just the whole context of this situation just made me die. I feel like you had to be there as well, but it was in my Mission Beach vlog, one of those. It was when there was a brown snake in the hostel in the Mission Beach Jackaroo. So many people just crowded around this brown snake, and there was one guy on like FaceTime to his family at home, just like showing his family obviously this brown snake. I was sitting there freaking out eating my dinner. The hostel receptionist guy came and had to put it in this net thing to put it back into the rainforest, and it was just quite funny. I feel as if you guys are gonna be like, Holly, that's not funny, but whatever. There have been like a few funny, strange things that have happened. Too many to like talk about, but you know. Have you had, oh, this is an interesting question. We need some kombucha. Just a little top up. What is the question? You don't even know yet. Have you had any travel romances or hookups? The answer is no. Anticlimactic, I know, right? Anticlimactic. Did I say that right? But we need to talk about this anyway, okay? So don't be disappointed. So I've had a huge revelation whilst I've been out here, and I think one of the questions, another question that relates to this that I wanted to answer. Where is it? Oh, this question, yeah. What have you learnt about yourself on your travels that surprised you the most? Okay, so that answers Siri, what? No. Yeah, that question ties in with the romances thing that I want to talk about with it. I've kind of realized, well, it's not really about myself, it's just about me and how I interact with other people. So I've realized that because I've met so many people here, I've constantly been interacting with people. I've really learned that social interactions are really important in life. I've really come to realize this. Before, I was very, very happy in this kind of bubble, my Holly bubble, as I always refer to it as. In life, your social interactions, not only with your family, but with friends as well, and just other people that you meet, are so important. You can learn so much from people, and I've just met people from all ages, all different backgrounds, and it's just been so, like, I don't know, inspiring to meet so many people and hear their backgrounds, their experiences in life. Okay, so about the romances thing, so I just need to process what I'm trying to tell you because it's still very like mixed in my head. But essentially, so I think this has come with both age and the fact that I've been solo traveling and I've had a lot of time to think and realize a few things. And if you've watched any of my like annual Valentine's Day videos, you know that I've talked about me being single, and I talked a lot about why I'm single and why I think it's okay to not be in relationships. And obviously if you're in a relationship, that's fine. If you're not, that's also fine. I've just talked about it from my perspective, being single my whole life. Like, I've never had a relationship. However, I've come to realize that I can't go my whole life being on my own. I think that's what I've realized. Previously, I was also very close to this idea of meeting people, and I'm not saying like I'm an open book now and I'm an expert. I'm still very like lost in this relationships world, but I kind of understand and get it now. I don't know if I'm making sense. Like, before I just didn't get it, whereas now I'm kind of starting to be like, oh, I kind of see why people are in relationships. And that might sound so stupid, but I've had this revelation. Life is there for you to, I don't know, live it with other people, and from like a romantic perspective, to live it with someone else, like to experience things with someone that you really get along with. I find this all really weird to say, like it's not even processed in my head, so I can't even, so I can't even process it out loud, but I don't know what's happening inside my head, but I'm realizing things. To this day, and even having traveled, I haven't met anyone in that kind of sense, or in that context. And I don't really think I'm going to be someone who will date. I just feel like in life, if something happens, like you meet someone that is your type on paper or you really get along with, you know, and you can see spending a lot of time together, your life with that person, then I think you just have to roll with it and let it be. Like, some things in life just will happen, and I think that's my take on it. Like, if I did, I don't know, meet someone that, yeah, I did get along really well with, you know, and I could see a connection. I feel so strange talking about this, but we're trying really hard. I just think I would have to roll with it. Obviously, love is something I've not experienced. I don't know how it feels, but I've just come to realize that, you know, being in a relationship and being with someone isn't that bad. And that sounds awful to say, I know, but in the past, and if you've watched my videos about relationshipsy stuff, I've just been kind of close to the idea. I've always been like, oh, it's never been on my to-do list, and I'm not saying it's on my to-do list now. I'm not actively trying to seek someone, you know, but what I'm saying is that if something did happen in life, like, I don't know, then you've just got to roll with it. I feel we need a round of applause, and I feel like you guys are going to be so shocked. I'm shocking myself, but that's what I've just kind of come to realize, and I'm still realizing and still processing. But, you know, be proud of me, guys. Oh, that feels weird, and I don't know if any of that made sense, but we tried. Stay tuned for the Valentine's Day video. How is sharing rooms with strangers? In hostels, yeah, I've stayed at all hostels. Most of the time I have been in shared rooms. Like, obviously I've heard of rooms like this one. This is the Brisbane YHA, and I've said in my last video, I talked a lot about it, but I have shared a lot of rooms. Most of them have been female only rooms. Some of them have been mixed. At first it was just a bit strange. Oh, I had one episode or one experience. This is kind of funny, so maybe I should have answered this one for the previous question about my funniest hostel story. But anyway, I had one strange experience in the middle of the night. Someone came in, I think they were just arriving really late, and they obviously had a torch on or something, and they couldn't tell which beds were empty. So I was on this top bunk, and this person climbed up the ladder to my bed and was literally like on my bed staring at me, trying to work out if there was a human in this bed. And I obviously opened my eyes and was so freaked, and I was like, oh my gosh, there was someone literally on my bed. And yeah, they kind of realized and then went back down and found the other bed that was spare. But yeah, that was a bit weird. I was like, whoa. But yeah, it was just strange, but now I'm kind of used to it, you know. I mean, sometimes it's not awkward but difficult because people go to bed at different times, but most of the time people will be sociable and they'll turn the lights off at like 10:30. And that's like a standard time for people to go to bed. And if people come in later, you'll just come in with a torch and try not to be loud and disturb anyone. Next question, what are the prices of food like? Groceries, fruit, veg compared to the UK. Okay, so obviously Australia, the living wage is higher, and so food prices are naturally higher, along with just prices of things in general. But in terms of food costs, the things that have shocked me, like literally blown my mind, are things like the price of cucumber, lettuce, broccoli. Okay, in the UK those things are so cheap, like pence, and in Australia they're so expensive. Obviously it's because they have to be imported, I assume, but a lettuce head, for example, is like $3.90. I just think that's quite expensive. That has shocked me, but it's okay. Most of the time the fruit and the veg is kind of like a reasonable price, but there have been shocking moments when I've been in the supermarket, especially when I first arrived, and I was like, what? And obviously for me, eating like whole plant foods, it's normally really cheap anyway, and I also do look for bargains. Like, I am a bargain hunter at heart. If there is reduced food, I will get that reduced food because it's so worth it. Do you feel like you packed too much or too little? So at the start, when I did my packing video and I packed my stuff, I actually thought that I didn't have that much stuff and I was pretty minimalist. However, I just don't understand how I now have so much stuff. I'm sorry, I'm staring at my bag right here. I have like 4 bags when I have to change location. 5 actually, because my bum bag as well. I feel as if I'm incapable of condensing everything now. Maybe I'm just not packing as efficiently. To answer this question though, in short, I do think I pack too much. Okay, next question. A true Australian question, Coles or Woolies? I think I've been to more Coles than Woolies, Woolworths, but I kind of think I prefer Woolies because they do the energy bars I love, the Lamington bars that I always have, and when I can't get them from Coles, I'm really sad. But both of them are pretty similar, to be fair though. What are your thoughts on going solo traveling again? Oh my gosh, it's raining. It suddenly started raining. Okay, random. Anyway, I would 100% go solo traveling again. I loved it. Yeah, I would love to explore so many other places. What GoPro are you using when filming your scuba videos? So every time I go under the water and I film underwater, I use a GoPro Hero 7, but I wouldn't recommend the Hero 7. I've heard a lot of things about it, and I feel like a lot of them are kind of glitchy and they have a few issues. Like mine freezes all the time. It often won't turn off and I have to just pull out the battery, but it does the job. It does film really well under the water. I think any GoPro that's waterproof and you can take underwater will give you great footage. But I also use it when I'm, say, out and about and I want to film and I don't want to get out my main camera, which is a bit bigger. So yeah, it's really just like nifty and handy when I just want to capture some things on the sly, especially in like busy environments. When are you going home? This trip has literally gone so quickly. I am on a 3-month tourism visa, and so I'm back home in mid-February. Have you received any inappropriate comments being a woman while traveling alone? Yes, I have. I've had a few, to be honest with you. Like, for example, literally yesterday when I arrived in Brisbane, I was walking on my own, literally just walking out of the hostel down the road, and this guy kind of like stumbled kind of close to me on the pavement, and they just suddenly started swearing at me, and I was a bit like, okay, I just like got my head down, just like increased my pace and just walked down the road. That made me feel a bit uneasy, but there was this guy ahead of me who realized this person was kind of swearing and shouting at me, and they turned around and they stopped and they waited for me and they were like, are you okay? And I was so like grateful for that person to be there, like this guy to just be like, are you okay? And I was like, yes, like thank you. I think if you're always in a busy environment with other people and you don't like try not to be out late on your own, you should be fine. Would you get a special Australia piercing or tattoo? I don't know, probably not on this trip, but I have mentioned in another Q&A that I would maybe want to get a small tattoo. I don't think it would be anything related to Australia. I do already have like a design in mind, like I literally have something that I would want, and I'm drawing it right now. I don't know why. I wouldn't necessarily have it here, but I'm really tempted by it, but I'm still kind of conflicted. Who takes your pictures everywhere? Do you just ask randoms every time? Most of the time they haven't actually been random strangers. Most of the time it's been people that I've been on tours with or I've met in a hostel, so it's not as awkward. But sometimes I have asked random people. I have been that kind of awkward little bean sitting on the side just assessing the situation, waiting for some people to walk past and maybe take their picture, and then I'll make a beeline and be like, hey, you know, would you mind taking a picture for me? How did you plan your trip? Did you book your hostels before or as you go along? Okay, so I want to do a whole video about how I planned my trip, but basically someone helped me plan it. Daryl from Welcome to Travel, he basically put my itinerary together and everything was basically pre-booked. But as I said, I will go more in depth into how everything was planned and why I did certain things, sort of thing, in a separate video. So if you want to see that, comment down below or like this video. Would you do a meetup, especially in Australia like Sydney? This is another thing that I've been thinking about just because you guys have suggested it. A lot of you have just messaged me being like, will you do a meetup in Sydney? And I'm like, maybe. If I do decide to do a meetup, it'll be on my Instagram, so stay tuned on the Instagram. I have no clue how long this video is going to be, but I'm going to do a last question. How do you fund your travels? Do you get sponsored a lot? Okay, so there are two parts to this question, and again, finances is a big topic. So yeah, everything that I've paid for on this trip has been paid by myself, but as well as that, as the question asked, is the whole trip sponsored? So I'm not being paid to say anything about the tours that I do or the places that I stay, sort of thing. So it's not an ad or a sponsor, but I have been, yes, gifted tours and accommodation in some cases. I've always put it in the description box or on my Instagram so that you know. And I think a lot of people are like, wow, you've just been gifted this trip. But I think what people forget sometimes is that I'm not working for that company, but I'm doing them a favor in that they have paid for my tour or my accommodation or my stay or whatever it may be, and in return I am putting it on my social media, I'm telling you guys about it, and I'm trying to document it as best as I can to show you what it's like, so that if you want to do that trip, you have a good insight into what you'll do and what you'll get your money for. And because I wanted to vlog on the go, I've obviously had to stay on top of my emails, make sure that I am giving credit wherever it's needed. It's taken a lot of work on my part to do all that. Yes, I've been gifted things, but like I am working so hard behind the scenes, as I've tried to show you in the more productive days when I've just been on my own and I've just been trying to do some work on my computer, you know. But having said that, I've tried to be totally honest about each trip. I can hands down say though that basically everything I've done out here has been so good. Like the standard of the tours have been so high, the accommodation, the YHAs to have been made like really good vegan food, and even if the tour has said that they don't cater for vegans, for example, like I've just been blown away. And genuinely, as I've said before, I haven't had a bad tour. Like they've all been so good, and I hope that in me documenting so much from this trip basically every day, as I've said, I hope that you guys can kind of pick which tours appeal to you most, and you have like enough information about them to decide which ones you want to do if you ever travel to Australia. So yeah, as well as you seeing like my personal journey, as it were, or growth, and you've come along on this trip with me, I hope that it's been a useful resource as well. So yeah, I think that's answered a lot of questions. I also got kind of, you know, quite deep. In short and in summary, I've learned a lot about myself. The whole concept of finding yourself when you solo travel still doesn't really make sense to me, but I kind of do get it. And that sentence in itself doesn't make sense, but solo traveling does something to you. It really, really does. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a good old thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any more questions or anything. As usual, if you want to subscribe, you can hit the subscribe button. I don't know, but yeah, I want to also say a huge thank you to you guys that have followed this Holy Ghost solo series. I've literally enjoyed every second of filming it, editing it, and putting out the content. I know it's been something very new on my channel, and it's not something that people will have initially come to my channel for, but this channel is about, I don't know, what I'm doing in life, just following my life. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in another episode, another vlog. Whew. I love these shorts, by the way. Cheers. Oh, bye.
Never give up.